Welcome, Stuart Wilkins.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. First, a shout out. My daughter turned 25 Friday night. Let's give her a hand out. So it's great to be here. I was going to do some stand-up, but I thought I would just do sort of a, it's a comedy club. That would be so cliche to get up here and do comedy. So I decided to just tell a little Christmas story because it's that time of the year. So I was raised Jewish, so I didn't know much about Christmas at all. I didn't know about Santa, but then I married the Catholic. And when you married a Catholic, we procreated, and we had 4 little Catholics. And so now I know a little bit about Christmas and Santa. Because when I grew up out on Long Island, we didn't have that. I was Jewish, so we had the Chanukah, Some people pronounce it Hanukkah, but I hate that. It's like you got a pubic hair stuck in your throat. So I changed it. It's Chanukah. And the Jewish elders, they're competing with Christmas and Santa. And how do you compete with Santa? That's so crazy. So what they did is they told us a different version of Santa. They described Santa as this overweight, he was an elderly man who was out of shape, and they said, he liked to have little boys and girls sit on his lap. So it was all a little bit creepy, to start with. And then they added to it, they said, and those little elves, they're actually midget dwarf slaves that those Catholics, picked out, and they dress them up. And then they told me, they said, Santa, he's actually a sex offender. They said, he's into prostitutes. That's why he's always going ho, ho, ho. He's calling out to the hookers. And so, I had this whole different vision. But then, because I got the Catholic connections now, I got in with Santa. And when I say I got in with Santa, I got to actually meet, and I got to meet the real Santa. Like, this was the real deal Santa, because he was Jedi Santa, he was like a ninja Santa, because he was smart enough to know, this was my Catholic in-laws, they had the connection too. They invited Santa every year, and every year the same guy would come, and he would know everything about the kids. He would know their names, their friends' names, their birthdays, their teachers' names. So he was the real deal. And my kids would look up to him and they'd say, this is great. And then Santa would tell them things, and it's great the way kids listen to Santa about everything. And they would say to him, he'd tell them, and he was very specific. So he said, like, 2 weeks ago, you didn't do your homework. And 3 nights ago, you didn't brush your teeth. And then he'd give them, advice. He'd say, don't run up the stairs too quick. There's a nail you could cut your foot on. And then he gave them other advice. He said, you got to be really respectful. So when you run upstairs and you see the door closed in mommy's bedroom and Santa's in there wrapping gifts with your mom, make sure to knock. So he was really good because he was so specific and so believable. That's how the kid, when the other kids go to a mall, that mall Santa, he's not believable. But I know what you're all thinking right now. You're thinking, oh, what an idiot. He's probably in there, banging your wife, and you just skipped over that. And I'm not, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with? You can't have Santa knocked off. That's just a no-no. I learned that, so I had a decision to make because, it's like, what am I going to tell my kids? I'd be known as the Santa murderer, and I can't do that to the 4 little Catholics. That wouldn't be fair to them. And beside that, there's some controversy about the Jews and the Catholic God, you know? Some people say we had a little bit of something to do to have him knocked off, you know? So if I were to knock off Santa, that's a double whammy that nobody can overcome, you know? So I decided against it. And what I found is, you know, Christmas is simple, you know? It's, are you good or are you bad? And knocking off Santa is bad, by all accounts. So my message to all of you is forgive and forget in this Christmas spirit. And my time is up. Thank you very much. Stuart Wilkins.